Hello, what's up YouTube? What if I told you that there is even a better way to use that empty layer within your frequency separation action? If I told you purchase my skin retouching essentials pack and you have my frequency separation actions in that very pack, and if I showed you a better way to retouch your images so that you don't go over through the process of creating a double frequency separation process to retouch your images better in Photoshop. So I just found out this better way you can use that empty layer to retouch your images better and have better results as if you have applied a double frequency separation to your images. So let me show you how you're going to be using that. And if at all you find this video helpful, make it a point that you hit the like button on this video so that YouTube can push and recommend this video to more people out there who are interested in learning about skin retouching, color grading, and so much more. And those interested in my skin retouching essentials pack, you can simply send me a DM on Instagram and I'll be able to give it to you at a price. Remember, this is a course that is going to help you to retouch better, and it is going to be my skin retouching course rather that is going to help you to understand the craft, and also includes mentorship that is going to be available up to a point when you still master the color grading process and skin retouching. So let's just get into this very retouching tutorial or method that I just found out. So you can see the image that we have right now, and basically when you're using frequency separation, I'm just going to come to my actions right here and I'm going to play my 16-bit frequency separation action. And if at all you don't have my skin retouching sessions pack, make it a point that you check the links in the description of this video so that you can purchase this and you'll have the actions here. In order to import them after buying them or installing and unzipping the actions, simply come right here to window, then you come and make sure you click on actions and it's going to open this window for you. So in order to load the actions into Photoshop, simply come right here and click on these lines right here and you come to load actions and simply click right there and you look for a folder where your actions were unzipped to. So that is how to install the actions. So I'm just going to come to my 16-bit action because this is a 16-bit image. I'm going to play it. So usually the action stops at this point when you determine the amount of textures that you want to remain within the image. So for this case, I'm just going to use this as a reference point. So I'm just going to use this and I'm going to take the radius up to when the details are just starting to get lost from the image. So at around 6 looks okay, and that is what I'm going to be using, and I'm going to simply press OK, and action is going to continue playing. So you're just going to get straight into the most important thing for today's video or today's tutorial. So usually my actions have a black and white layer, but we are not going to be using that in this tutorial. I'm just going to delete this right now. So the most important emphasis is on the layer. So usually after getting your mixer brush tool and you want to work on this image, so this basically works more, or it works, or it is even effective to people that use the mixer brush tool. So assuming you know how to set up the mixer brush tool and you have been using different settings and working for you, you can just put in those settings for your mixer brush tool. So usually for my case, I simply make sure it is a clean brush. I select this option which says clean the brush after each and every stroke. The weight I use is 9%, the load of 75%, the mix at 90%, and the flow of 100%. So after this, I'm just going to make sure to look at this option right here which says sample all layers. So we just want to even out the skin tone transitions in the image, but we want first of all work with the empty layer first, so that if at all we make mistakes, you can simply delete that layer and add another layer still, and we work on that empty layer once again. So this is going to be a non-destructive kind of technique. So I'm just going to come right here and I'm going to simply select this empty layer within my frequency separation actions. And after doing that, after setting up the mixer brush tool, we are going to come, so make sure this option right here, before you check this option, just simply come and turn off the high frequency layer and come back and select the empty layer. So remember, this layer has no information in it. You can see right now it doesn't have any information, and it is a blank layer. So if at all you want to even out the skin tones in the low frequency layer, we are simply going to come right here to this option which says sample all layers, meaning when you check this empty layer is also going to be copying information from the low frequency layer. It is going to be as if it is part of the low frequency layer right here. And when I start painting on the skin tones, let me show you what is going to happen. So when I start painting, it is going to be as if I'm working on this very low frequency layer, but I'm painting on the empty layer itself. So let me just paint through. So usually when using a Mr. Brush tool, we basically be painting colors that are looking alike, so that we even out the transitions within the skin color or skin tone, so that we can have a very nice and seamless transition within the skin tones or the skin color of our subjects or of the images we are trying to work on. So let me just come and paint just like that. So I'm basically left clicking and moving my mixer brush tool. And for settings for mixer brush tool, I forgot to mention that it is a soft mixer brush tool. So I'm just going to come and paint through, and I'm just going to do a really rough job right here, so that if at all I don't mix some areas, I can show you a better way to perfect that. And it's going to be as if you are applying a double frequency separation to this very image. Let me just do a very rough job right here. So let's just take more emphasis and look more on the face. You can see we have been painting through and evening out this, and it was as if we're working on the low frequency layer. But the trick here is we left this sample all layers option turned on or checked, because we have selected a low frequency layer and we want the brush to also sample information from the low frequency layer, and it's going to be as if you're working on this low frequency layer. So when we come back and we turn on the texture layer, you can see when we turn on the overall before and after, you can see we have just worked on an empty layer, but it was as if we were working on the layer that was containing the colors or the skin tones. And even if I come right here and I turn off these other layers in the image, even the texture layer, you can see what we have been blending on the image in this empty layer within the frequency separation layers. So I'm just going to come and turn this back on, and I show you when this is not going to be effective for you. So before we can even see when this is not going to be effective. So after working on this empty layer and you feel like it is really not producing the results that you want, you can come back and now select the low frequency layer, and this is going to be like a double frequency separation. Remember, we have just blended the skin tones in the empty layer, so you're now going to come to the low frequency layer and even fine-tune the mixer brush tool results. So you can see that this is going to transform the image and make it quite better. And those that always ask how I'm able to get perfect results, I've always had a longer method to fine-tune the image, and that involves creating all those frequency separation layers once again. But this is going to be more of a shortcut. So you can see you can fine-tune the result from your retouching process in the low frequency layer itself. So when we come right here and we basically first of all hide this empty layer and we select the texture layer, you can see what we have just done on just the low frequency layer. Just look at the before and after for just the low frequency layer, and when you turn on the empty layer, just look at the results that you have. So if at all you check this and you want to apply or you want to blend the skin tones on only the empty layer, and you simply come and you check this and you leave the high frequency layer turned on and you start mixing the skin, it means that it is also going to sample the texture layer. And when you start painting, it means that even the textures are going to be painted in this empty layer. So make sure you hide or unsee this so that Photoshop doesn't look at any information in regards to the textures in the image. I don't know if I'm making sense, but if at all you follow this the way I've explained it, you're going to be getting the best out of your images, and you're going to be applying double frequency separation first on the empty layer when you have turned off the texture layer right here. And with the mixer brush tool, you're just going to be blending the transitions within the image. And if at all you want fine tune and take that a little bit higher, you can come and select the low frequency layer itself. But this time around, when you select the low frequency layer, you have to come and make sure you can either leave this on, sample all layers, because you have already hidden the texture layer, or you can simply leave this turned off right here, and you can simply paint through and even the transitions within the skin tone. So basically that is how to use this technique. I know it is a little bit confusing, but if at all you follow this video or the steps I've shown you in this tutorial, you're going to be able to get the best out of your skin retouching process. So this is it for this tutorial, and if at all you have found it helpful, don't forget to like this video, and don't forget to subscribe this channel if at all you have been watching and you're not subscribed this channel. Ronnix from ronnixphotography. Thank you for watching, and see you in yet more amazing tutorials. And don't forget to keep practicing and also keep creating.